By the Mishnah. Evet Shenishba, Ufaduhu. Evet Kanani. So we have to always think about Evet Kanani, that it's a status, it's not just Goy. It's a status called Evet Kanani, it's Chalakis Achayiv and Mitzvahs Keisha. And we say in the morning, Shalom Asani Goy, Shalom Asani Evet, that there's a different status, not a regular Goy. So here is a case where somebody owned Evet Kanani and he was captured by the Goyim. The Gemara is going to say there's a mitzvah to redeem him also. He's partly Jewish, not like a guy. He's a status of a Jew. Besides the fact that you own him and you have financial rights, he has to work for you. But also there's a status that he's a Jew. So here is a case where Evet Kanani was captured by the Goyim, Ufadu, and the Jews redeemed him. So what is his status now? Not that he was redeemed, what status does he get now? Is he free? And when a Evet Kanani becomes free, he becomes a full Jew, it's like a ger. And there's an issa usually for the owner to free him. That you're supposed to keep them as an evidence according to the drash. You're not supposed to free him. But if he did get freed, so then he becomes a ger. Right, somebody else redeemed him. Jews redeemed him. So what status does he get now? So the Mishnah Tanakama says, that's what we're going to talk about. That's the question. Did the owner give up hope? Like he lost something, he's not going to get it anymore, so then he loses. Same way he loses a cow, and he's mityayish. Besides the ownership, we always have to talk about Evet Kanani, about his status and about the ownership, the money, the financial value. So if the owner would have lost the donkey and he would have said, I lost it, by the kiss, so then he loses ownership, he forgoes the ownership. So then by Evet Kanani also, it could be that once the owner says, I'm not going to get him back, he was captured, so then he maybe loses ownership. The Eved still going to be Evet Kanani, as a status of Evet Kanani halachically. But as far as the ownership, the first one, what the Rabbi Rishon was going to call the first master, the original master, would have lost ownership. That's what Avnisa wants to know. Are we talking about that the owner, the original owner, did he lose hope or did he not lose hope? That's what we're going to talk about. Here it says, if those who redeemed him did it with intention of him remaining an Eved, so then he still is an Eved. Also, not clear in the Mishnah, for who is he an Eved? Is he Eved to the original Rav? Is he Eved to the new Rav? The Mishnah is very ambiguous. If they redeemed him for the purpose of becoming free, so then he goes free. No difference. Even if he was redeemed with the intention of freeing him, still he's subjected, still he's an Eved. So it's not clear. Is it talking about before years, after years? When it says is an Eved to the original master? Is he Eved to the new master? Those are the two choices. So the Gemara is going to talk about all of these possibilities. So Machlokes, it doesn't say Tikkun Olam over here yet. Maybe that's going to come up later. It doesn't say Tikkun Olam. Maybe that's going to be included in the Gemara's Pshatim. Everyone holds that. I don't know. Everything's open. What's doing here? Masechus Gittin. It's only in the list of Tikkun Olam. So it doesn't say at the word Tikkun Olam. So let's try to plow through the sugya. But my skin, what's the case of the Mishnah? This Eved that was redeemed, that was captured and redeemed. So the Gemara looks at it before knowing anything. The Gemara says our own opinion would have been that it depends if the original master gave up hope or not. That's called the word Yush means to give up hope. And the Gemara thinks that if the first master did not give up hope, so it still belongs to him. If the first master he lost the donkey and he didn't give up hope, so it still belongs to him. So the Eved also still belongs to him. Belongs to the first master. Also, it could be that Yush makes that you lose it. Could be like a donkey. As far as the Yush, it's going to be like a horse, like a donkey, like a cow, object, a watch, that if you lose it, so then you lose ownership. And here the Gemara is saying it should depend. We should think it should depend if he lost hope or not. If he did not lose hope, so it still belongs to the first original master. And if he did lose hope, so then it doesn't belong, then he goes free. Why should he stay? And the Mishnah doesn't say something about you. The Gemara says, the Mishnah says depends if he was redeemed for the intention of servitude or freedom. And why does that come in? It shouldn't depend on that. Why is the criteria, if he was, what the intention was of the Redeemer, the criterion should be only if the first master gave up hope. We have the words inside again. But my skin, what are we talking about? If the original master did not give up hope, so then it always should belong to him. But how come if the Redeemer redeemed him for the purpose of freedom, how come he goes free? He still belongs to the first master. What's the difference why he was redeemed? He still belongs to the first master. Must be talking about that the first master gave up hope. So then he should go free. Why does he go back to servitude just because someone redeemed him for the purpose of being an Eved? He's already free. So they're going to be two Terutzim over here. One's going to be Avaya, one's going to be Rava. Amar Avaya, Olam Lefnei years. If it was after years, I'm just sticking into the Gemara. If it was after years, you're right. Then he goes free. It doesn't make a difference what the Redeemer had in mind. The case is talking about Lefnei years. So, what was the kasha? Lefnei years should always should belong to the original master. Uleshum Eved Yishtabed the Rabo Rishon. That makes sense. That if the Redeemer redeemed him for the purpose of servitude, so he goes back to the original master because he never gave up hope. But if the Redeemer redeemed him for freedom, then he goes free. Well, just a second, I just have to move this a little bit. Oh, I don't have to. Okay, it's good. Then he doesn't have servitude not to the original master, not to the new master. Rabbi Sheni Lo, the first white line, he never intended to take him as an Eved. He intended to redeem him. So the second master is not going to take over ownership. And the question is, he still belonged to the Rabbi Rishon? Now we're getting to the answer. The kasha was that if the original master did not give up hope, so he still belongs to him. That's because somebody came, he was captured, and then he was redeemed for freedom. He should go free.
Did the person redeem him know he was an Eved? The person who was redeeming him know he was an Eved? He thought he was a Jew.
An Eved also is a kind of a Jew.
Right, yeah.
Right, and
He knew this Jew was captured. He redeemed him. He did not know he was an Eved.
He was captured, and now he came to redeem him that I should go free.
Yeah, but he didn't know that he was an Eved.
He did not know? It seems that he did know. It seems that he knew. And he goes free. And the question is, why should he go free? He still belongs to the first master.
Right.
Yeah, so the answer is, the Rabbi Rishon Amilo, Dilma Mimni Velo Parki, that people wouldn't redeem him if he's only an Eved. It seems that people want to do mitzvahs, Pidyon Shvuyim. On the Pidyon Shvuyim list, Pidyon Shvuyim means to redeem the captured. So a Jew that's on the Pidyon Shvuyim list, so then everybody gets mobilized in order to redeem him. But if it's an Eved Kanani that's on the Pidyon Shvuyim list, people don't jump to redeem him, even though they should. Because he also was a Chatzi Jew. He also has a status of a Jew, and they're really supposed to. I think that's how Parshim explained that at this point, also they're supposed to, but he's not going to be as popular to be redeemed because he's a Eved. So if the second master, the one who redeemed him, is doing it in order to free him, we have to give him that ability that he should be able to free him. Or else, if he's not able to free him, he's not going to redeem him. He's not going to go into the campaign of the redemption because he's only an Eved Kanani. If he can redeem him to be free and become a regular Jew, so then people are encouraged and interested in redeeming him. So they made this would be a Tikkun Olam kind of a thing. This would be a takana. I'm not sure if that's what the Mishnah means, but that could be something that the Chachamim made, that even though Menadin, he should belong to the original master, no one's going to get him out. If the original master is going to come and get him out, fine, that's his business. But if he's not going to, you want other people to do it, people are not going to do it if he's going to go back to the Rabbi Rishon anyway. Even though it would be a mitzvah. It would be a mitzvah to redeem. What? Yeah. If he comes up with the money, but if he's not going to, so then really he owns him. But we're gonna let him go free because we want people to redeem him. It is interesting that the first one talk about what if the redeemer wants to buy him for himself? Isn't that also an incentive? Now people have an incentive to invest money in order to free him. They're not going to get anything out of it financially. They're giving him money in order to redeem him. He's going to go free, become a regular Jew. Wouldn't it also be interesting to make that he should be able to redeem him for an Eved for themselves? It seems not. It seems that people, when Taisa says that we're not going to take it away from the first master, it really belongs to the first master. It's before years. and now someone's going to redeem him. Also, we're interested that he should get out of the goyim. He's captured now by the goyim. So we would have been happy. What? Right, and we don't say redeem him and you can keep him. I would have thought that's the way to encourage people to redeem him. You could buy him and keep him. Because the same way how could you legally free him? It's also only for Takana to get him out of the captivity. So isn't it also just as well to get him out of captivity by allowing you to buy him? The first master, the first case also, but in case, what are we doing? Yes, and still we're letting him to be free. The way you're asking, it should be kasha on the Gemara also. That's what the Gemara is asking. If it's been 4 years, so how come if you redeemed him from freedom, he goes free? You're taking away somebody's Eved. Reuven had Eved, and he got captured, and he still didn't have years, so he still belongs to Reuven. But we're going to say, if Shimon comes and redeems him for freedom, he goes free. And we tell Reuven, sorry, you lost your Eved because we want to make it the content that he should get freed. This way, we're going to get people to redeem him because we're going to give him an option of freedom. But it seems, we don't say people come and redeem and buy him for an Eved, and we'll also get him out of captivity. That we don't do. Maybe people are more to mitzvahs than they are into business deals. If they're going to get him redeemed for freedom, then they'll do it. But if they can only make a business deal out of it, that's not enough. Or Taisa says a little different, that it's not right to steal from, like Levi Yaakov was saying, it's not right to take him away from the first one to give him to the second one, even though the purpose is to get him out of captivity. That's not nice. I'm not sure why. But to take him away and make him free, people see it as nice. It could be that the first guy, the owner, also sees it as it's okay. If it's going to be free, okay. Even though you took it away from me, really, I was not miyash. But if you're going to take it away from me and give it to him, okay. Another Jew in the world, I'm okay. Even though I wanted him and he belongs to me, really, okay. But in order to get him out of captivity, so we'll allow that if somebody does it for the purpose of freedom, so then we'll let him get free. But you're going to let other people buy my Eved in order to get him out of captivity? Okay, people don't like that. Top line, which one? The first word line? The Rabbi Sheni Lo, the Holishim Ben Chorn parking. He doesn't go back to the second master because he didn't want to take him. He redeemed him for freedom. The Rabbi Rishonami Lo, the Mamim Lo. Also, he doesn't go back to the first master. He should go back to the first master. He doesn't. If he's deemed for freedom, he doesn't go back to the first master because people are going to hold back and not redeem him. No one's going to redeem him. If I redeem him, he's going to go back to the first master. I'm not going to redeem him. If I redeem him and he's going to go free, I'll redeem him. The incentive is that right. He'll be a free man, so then people will put him onto the Binyan Shvuyim list, and they'll say if you redeem him, he's going to be a Jew. So that's how Rabbi learns the Mishnah. We start to explain Rav Shimon Gamliel. Rav Shimon Gamliel in the Mishnah argued and said even if you redeem him for freedom, he goes back to the master. So what is that? Second wide line. Rav Shimon Gamliel Omer Ben Kachol Ben Kachishabot Yishtabed. Either way, he's still subjugated. Why? Isn't there a problem that people are not going to redeem him? There's a mitzvah to redeem Avodim also. I think some Mepharshim say at least that the mitzvah, the Tanakam also, the Tanakam also is a mitzvah to redeem Avodim. But people don't look at it like that. People are not perked up to redeem Eved Kanani, but they are excited about redeeming a Jew, or someone's going to be a Jew. And Rav Shimon Gamliel knows that they do the mitzvah just as much. People are just as interested in redeeming Avodim. Of course, they're not the same as a Jew, but there's a mitzvah to redeem Eved Kanani also. So you don't have to make the special takana, and he goes back to the Rabbi Rishon. He goes back to the original master because that's what's really supposed to be. What? Right, and it means he doesn't make the takana. Right. The Tanakama makes a takana, and Rav Shimon Gamliel didn't make the takana. The takana of Tanakama was that in order to get him out of captivity, will allow somebody to redeem him for freedom, and he goes free. Take him away from his real owner, the first master. And Rav Shimon Gamliel doesn't see a need for that takana. People are just as excited, or they're also interested in them. What is that? Who's thinking about? No. That's not a sugya here at all. Where do you see that in the sugya? No, he's talking about the pidyon. He's talking about getting out of the goyim. that there's a mitzvah to is no. The point is not the Liftos says Bnei is not talking about to get him his money back, to do a Shabbos Aveda. The point is to redeem him. There's a mitzvah to redeem the free. What's that mitzvah? That's called Pidin Shvuyim, to get him out of the captivity of the Goyim. So there's a mitzvah to get to redeem the Goyim, or the Avodim also out of the Goyim. That's just that's a response to what Tanakama said, that we have to make sure people are perked up to be podim, so make him into a free man. And Rav Shimon Gamliel says you don't have to, because there's just a mitzvah. There's a mitzvah to be podim Avodim also. So therefore, leave it the way it is, and people are going to redeem him. It's going to go back to the first master, but that's not their interest. Their interest is to get him out of captivity of the Goyim, and they're going to do that. He's on the Pidin Shvuyim list. The Pidin Shvuyim list has Jews, and the Pidin Shvuyim list has Avodim, and everyone's trying for everybody. There's Avodim Kananim, and there's a Jew, and there's a mitzvah to be posted to Avodim Kananim also, and people do that also. By the Goyim, it's by the Goyim, yeah, sure. It's high the mitzvahs. So this is Abayi's Pshat in the Mishnah. So again, how does Abayi say that? If it will be Lacha Yish for sure, he goes free. If it's Lefnei Yish, so we would have thought that it goes back to the first master, and that's what Rav Shimon Gamliel says. But Tanakam made a takana that if he was redeemed for freedom, he goes free in order to encourage people to redeem him, or else they wouldn't want to redeem him. They wouldn't be so excited about redeeming him because he's being Eved anyway. All that was Abaya. Third white line, rubber. Now it's a Nupsha. Right. The whole thing is that there's no Yish. Right? No Yish really belongs to the first master. We're taking him away from the first master in order that he should be able to be free, in order people should have an incentive to redeem him. That's what Tanakam Rav Shimon Gamliel doesn't hold that takana, so he says that he goes back to the first master because he still belonged to the first master. Third white line, Rav Amar Lo Lacha Yish. The Fnei Yish, he goes back to the first master. After Yish, so he said it should have gone free. Well, the Shum Eved Yishtabed the Rabbi Sheni. The Shum Ben Choron Lo Yishtabed Lo. So Rabbi was putting in the word of Rabbi Sheni. We didn't think of this till now. That if he redeemed him for servitude for himself, it's Lacha Yish, and the first one lost him. And now the second one, the ones that the Redeemer comes and wants to redeem him for his own slave, he may, because the first master lost him. So I'm allowed to take him. If he took him for a free man, he redeemed him for freedom, then he goes free, not serving, not the first master, not the second master. He's not going to be in servitude to the second master because he wasn't interested. He's the one who redeemed him for freedom. Because he lost it because he was Meyayish. So that makes sense. That's pretty simple. That even after Yush, if the second master wants to redeem him for a slave, so he took him for a slave now. He bought it for a slave. Why not? We'll see. Maybe we'll see soon. Why not? But that's how the Tanakhama says. Why not? Even if it's after Yush, and he redeemed him for freedom, he doesn't go free. He's still an Eved. Why is that? Why keep an Eved? The master, the real master was Miyash. He gave up over, so he lost him L'chora. And the second master wasn't interested in buying him for. So why should he be? Why should he be an Eved? Kidduchizkiya. He's coming to explain Rav Shimon Gamliel. Rav Shimon Gamliel says that even if he was redeemed after years for freedom, he doesn't go free. We have to stop the what's the word? The strategy of the Eved who'd like to get out of his master. He has a master that he doesn't like. He wants to get out of him. So he's gonna try to get captured. And then the first master is going to give up hope. And then somebody will redeem him for freedom. And he has a plan how to get it. He has a plan of escape. If the halach is going to be that if he's going to get redeemed for freedom, people have Rahmanas on him, because not Rahmanas, real Rahmanas, because he's Pidin Shvuyim. He's Eved Kanani that was captured by the Goyim. So the Jews, everyone knows the Jews are going to redeem him. So he'll get redeemed. This will be his plan of escape, getting freedom. He's going to force freedom from the first master. He doesn't want to be. What's he going to do? He's going to make himself fall himself to the enemy, to the Goyim. They'll take him as a captive. If the Jews will redeem him for freedom, like Pidin Shvuyim, and they'll go free. So they said, in order to stop that, in order to take away his plan, we say it's not going to help you. Even if they're going to redeem you for freedom, you're still going to be an Eved. To who are you going to be an Eved? Again, just to get the case, the first master was Miyash. He got captured, either on purpose or not, he got captured. And the Jews redeemed him for freedom, and he's last to remain an Eved. To who? Even though he redeemed him for freedom. That's the case. That's the case. The case is, so to who? To who? To who? Even though he is Miyash already.
First robbery.
Even though he doesn't know this, that guy's going to be. Why? Yeah, really, officially, really, halachically, the first one lost him because he was Miyash. And the second one redeemed him for freedom, so he should be free. According to the law, the letter of law, he should have been free. But we want to keep him enslaved in order that he shouldn't make this escape plan. Right. The third, they shouldn't have this escape plan. So what do we say? You're a Nevet. To who you are a Nevet? The Gemara doesn't say openly. And it's Machlokes Rishonim. Rashi says he's going to be a slave to the original master. And the Rambam says he'll be a slave to the second master. The Rambam. And Tosfos also, the Tosfos says the possibility. What? Right. Even though he did it for freedom, he did mitzvah pidyon shvuyim, we tell him, but you get a Nevet. It's yours. You don't want him, sell him. So that's the Machlokes I learn now in Rabbah and Shimon Gamliel. But the purpose is in order to determine that he shouldn't want to escape, have a plan of escape. So far we have Machlokes and Abai and Rabbah, how to learn the Mishnah, so talking about the Fnei years, Acha years, both Tanakam and Shimon Gamliel. Meisvei, Kasha from a Brisa. Amalan of Shimon Gamliel, here the Brisa says of Shimon Gamliel's discussion with the Rabbanan. He told them, Kishem Shemitzvah Liftos Es B'nei Chor, and Kach Mitzvah Liftos Es Avodim. Rav Shimon Gamliel said to Rabbanan something about that discussion, that is a mitzvah to redeem Avodim also. So according to Abai, that was the discussion. Abai said that the chashash of the Rabbanan was that no one's going to redeem him, so you have to make it the kana to free him. And Rav Shimon Gamliel replies that there's a mitzvah. People are interested in the mitzvah of redeeming Avodim also. So there's no reason to make it such a takana. So if it's before years, so even if it's before years, even if he was redeemed for freedom, he's still ever to the original master like it's supposed to be, because no reason to make it the kana. People are going to redeem him. So that makes sense according to Abaye. Bishlam al Abaye that the discussion was before years, Shamal Lefnei years. So the discussion of Shimon Gamliel makes sense. He's answering Lanyan. I need to come up Kishem. That's why he says it's all Kishem. Kishem is the first word of the sentence. Kishem Shemitzvah Liftos Es B'nei Chor, and Kach Mitzvah Liftos Es Avodim. The same way it's a mitzvah to redeem the free man, it's a mitzvah to redeem the Eved. So there's no reason to make it a kana. And he goes back to the original master. Ella, the Rabbah, according to Rabbah, the subject is talking about the Acha years, and really you should go free. And the reason of Rav Shimon Gamliel is because we want to make it determined that he shouldn't get himself captured in order to get free. So the words of Rav Shimon Gamliel don't make sense. Hi, Kishem. The word Kishem is always the beginning of this, beginning of the slogan, the beginning of the whole motto. Kishem Shemis. Kishem, not because Kishem, Kishem the Chizkiyahu. It's because of Chizkiyahu. The reason why Rav Shimon Gamliel should have said that my reason is because there's a chash, he's going to get himself captured, not because mitzvah. That's not to do with the subject. So it's a fair Shabbrai, so Abai is right. From Rav Shimon Gamliel's answer to the Rabbanan, you see what the discussion was all about. You see Abai is right, that the discussion was before years, and really should go back to the first master. And the reason why we're giving him to the second master, the Tanakhama says, that we're giving him to freedom is that people should have an incentive to redeem him. And Rav Shimon Gamliel says you don't need an incentive because it's a mitzvah, the same mitzvah to the Pidyon Shvuyim. So the Brisa is perish like Abaye. Rabbah says you're right. The Brisa of Shimon Gamliel does talk the lashon of Abaye. Rav Shimon Gamliel, he wasn't sure what the Rabbanan meant to say. It means our question, what's the Mishnah talking about before? The reason of Rav Shimon Gamliel is not because of Kishem, it's because of Chizkiah. Chizkiah is the one who said a couple of lines ago that he shouldn't get himself captured. That's what I should have said. It should have been Amalan of Shimon Gamliel that you have to don't say Kishem. Don't say this whole sentence of Kishem. Say Chizkiah. What is Chizkiah? The reason of Chizkiah that he shouldn't fall himself to the enemy camp in order to get him out of his Rav. So the Brisa says it's Abaye's language, not Rabbah's terminology. The Rabbah says you're right. Rav Shimon Gamliel himself didn't know Pshat and the Rabbanan. He heard the Rabbanan say that if it's was redeemed for servitude, he's a servant. For freedom, he's free. But he didn't know what they're talking about. Our whole question we were talking about, he himself didn't know. He didn't know what the Rabbanan meant. That's why he answered to them the following. If you mean to talk about the Fnei Yush, Kamrisu, and that's a bias pshat, so then Hainu Kishem. So I'm not choshish for bias for the. I'm going to say that even if they redeemed him for freedom, he goes back to the first master before years because he really belongs to him, and there's no reason to make a takana and other people should redeem him because they redeem him anyway. If you mean to say that after years he goes back, it keeps him a slave, even you say that if it was after years and he was redeemed for freedom, he goes free because the second master wasn't interested in keeping him for a slave. No, then I say that you have to keep him to be a slave in order that he should be deterred not to make an escape plan. So it's interesting that Rabbi says that Rav Shimon Gamliel didn't know the pshat and the Rabbana, but I do know the pshat. I know what they really meant. You weren't sure what they meant, so he said both. He covered on both sides that he's arguing on Rabbanan, and but Rabbi says that I know what they really meant. They really meant Lachayish, and Rav Shimon Gamliel says that Lachayish made a takon that he should have a deterrent, that he shouldn't want to get himself captured. Yes, please. Chizkiah has a right.
Seems far-fetched that Evans would know all these halachas, and if you take a chance.
He has to, right? Sure, it's true that when he takes a chance, he has to know the halachas first. What's going to happen if he gets redeemed? He does have to know what's going to happen if he gets redeemed. He might not know.
It'd be worse off.
Maybe that's the way the people, when they make some kind of a plan, together, especially to get himself into the enemy camp, he's not happy to be there. A guy also might redeem him over there. He doesn't know what he's getting into. So he's only going to do it if he's a good chance that he's going to get in a better situation. If he knows Jews redeem and he knows that he's going to go free, he'll try to get there. But if he knows that he's not going to get free anyway, but it's true, it has to be that they should publicize this halacha to all the avadim, and probably the masters will, in order that the avadim shouldn't run away. Don't try any funny business, because even if you are going to run away and you're still going to come back to me. So make sure you do. Funny. What are you saying, Rav? He didn't say those words. Yeah. In the Brisa it is. In the Brisa he said that. Right. Not he would have. He said both. Rabbi says that he said both. He said, if this is what you mean, kishen. If this is what you mean, then it's chizkiah. He didn't say the word chizkiah. He said kishen. Chizkiah is an amoral later on that explains Rav Shimon Gamliel. The Brisa itself explains. Rav Shimon Gamliel explains himself. No, kishen doesn't mean chizkiah. That you have to put into the Brisa. We only have half a Brisa, so to speak. Rabbi says that's only half the story. The Brisa that you quote is half the story. Chizkiah, that Rav Shimon Gamliel said, if this is what you mean, kishen. But you have to continue the Brisa. And what you really mean is that even after years also he remains a slave, and the reason is because he shouldn't get himself captured. It doesn't say it in the Brisa. Right? He's not saying that you have to fill into the Brisa. He's only telling you on one half. Another half, it's a big dochak, and also it's a dochak that Rav has to be moda that Rav Shimon Gamliel didn't know what Rabbanan meant, but I know what Rabbanan meant. Like Taisus points this out over here, the bottom Taisus. Even though Rav Shimon Gamliel had a suffix, Rabbi says lo mistaber, the bottom of words. You can look at lo mistaber Rabbi Klaloma the palag of the years. Then even though Rav Shimon Gamliel did suspect that Rabbanan mean to say before years, and even though he should be a slave, the Rabbanan would have freed him in order to encourage people. But Rabbi says lo mistaber, and he says that this is the real pshat. So it is a dochak. Okay, the Gemara continues. What lines up? Well, the Rava. So Rava said it's talking about after years, and really the first master lost him, and really he should go free. But they made a takana that if the master redeemed him for, how does it go? If the second one redeemed him for servitude, he's in service of the second one. And if he redeemed him for freedom, he goes free. And Rav Shimon Gamliel made a takana that he shouldn't go free in order that he shouldn't get himself captured in order to get free. It's whole scheme. But the Gemara is stopping on the point that Rabbi says that it was after years, and if the second master redeemed him for servitude, he's his servant. And the kasha is, how did that happen? This man, this Eber Kanani, he was after years. He's owned by the first master, and the first master gave up hope. So now he's a free man. And now it happens to be he's by the goyim. But the Gemara doesn't see that as being anything. The goyim, okay, so he's stuck. He's by the goyim, but he really is a free man. And then someone comes and redeems him in order to have him as a servant. So he gets him. How did he get him? He's a free man. That's the Gemara's problem. That's what I didn't say the words inside yet, but the problem is, how could he take an evidence? He's a free man, and you're capturing him. You're conquering him because you paid money to the captive, to the captor. Oh, how do you do that? How could you? He's a Jewish man. Call him a Jewish man. What?
No.
It's stealing a person. He's stealing a person. But stealing a person. Okay. Okay.
No.
He's saying that in a certain difference, it means to steal a person, not only steal money. Okay. Okay. So that's what I seem to do over here. He stole it. Now, of course, he still have a Kanani. You have to always speak out that there's 2 points of Ever Kanani. One is his, how would you call him? The status. His, how would you say that? His Jewish status. What is that? Halachic status. So he might have to have a get share. He might have to get a document of liberation in order to be able to marry a Jewish girl. That he's still considered an Eved Kanani. He has to become a ger. He has to go to the mikveh maybe. There's a process how he becomes, to get out of his halachic status from an Eved to become a Jew. He still has to say, he can't say Shlo Asani Yovid. He's still a Eved Kanani status. But as far as the ownership, his financial status, he had an owner, a Jewish owner, and that Jewish owner gave up hope. So he's a free man now. So how could another Jew come and conquer him and take him to be his and tell him to work? That's a most kasha. Sheni, that the second master gets to own him because he Gabo Sheni Miman Kanile. Who did he buy him from? Mishaboy, from the captors. Shaboy Gufa Mikanile. How did the captors, the Goyish captors, how did they have a right to capture him? Did they own him? They just were forceful, they're strong, so they captured him, pirates, whatever they are. So they captured him. But he doesn't legally belong to them. If he would legally belong to the Goyim, the Gemara seems to be okay that the Jew could buy him from the Goyish owners. But the Gemara at this point thinks that the Goyim don't own him. He's a sort of half Jew, he's an Eved Kanani that doesn't have an owner. And the Goy just physically took over, but not that he owns him. So now that the Jew redeems him, he paid money, how could he take the ownership over? That's the most kasha. And the Gemara answers, now we're going into the sugya of owning an Eved. In Shaboy means the captors. Kanile, does the captor own him? And the one says, yes, in Kanile Lamasiyadav. Yes, he does own him for his work, handiwork, which means that you talk about Kinyan Aguf, that I own him, I own his body. I don't own his body, but I own him that he has to work for me. I own his work. And he's right. And the first one, because of his years, he lost him. The first one owned him. The Gemara didn't talk about how did the first one get to own him, because a guy surely could sell himself. This seems to be the background. A guy, you want to buy an Eved Kanani? So you go to Filipinos, whatever, you say, would you like to sell yourself as an Eved Kanani? And you'll become like a half a Jew, and you go to the mikveh, Mila, and mikveh, and you become a status of you could say Shlo Asani Goy in the morning, don't say Shlo Asani Yov, you can say Shlo Asani Goy, because now you became to the status of a Eved Kanani, and you work for me, I own you, and you have a halachic status, you have a mitzvah, and Mechal Shabbos, and Mechal Shabbos Chayiv Misa, it becomes a half a Jew, we'll call it, and that's right. So I can buy an Eved Kanani, but the word now is talking about I'm conquering an Eved Kanani. I go to the street and I got a goy, and I conquered him, and now he becomes my Eved. Or here the case would be I bought him from the captors, so is that such a thing? So the Gemara says that the slave market, that's the way to say it. So here it says that the goyim could be kona a goy to own his work. Not that he becomes any kind of status because of them, but they own him, and there's such a thing. That's going to be the sugya now. How does a goy own a goy? Then we're going to talk about that you can buy it. Jew can own a goy also, and even Jew owning an Eved Kanani. Here it goes. Whatever it says it's always a censorship. I'm not going to say goy the whole time. The goy shekon is a goy. How do you know that a goy could own another goy for his work? Not his body, but he owns his work. He's obligated to work for him. Shenema I'm not sure why I'm not being given the possibility to move around this thing. Something's not working. Okay, it's working again. No, not exactly. I'm not sure. How do you know that a guy could own a gun? The pasuk is probably on the side of the page. Do I have it over here? Oh, here it is. How come I'm not being given? Oh, okay. Where's that? Make it a little bigger. וגם מפני התושבים הגרים עמכם מהם תקנו ממשפחתם אשר עמכם אשר עליתם בארצכם והיו לכם לאחוזה. It's talking about buying an Eved Canaanite. So it says don't buy Jews, but you could buy the inhabitants that are living with you. From them you could buy, and from their families that are with you, that gave birth in your lands, they could become your ownership. So it says you could buy goyim. So the Jew could buy a goy. A Jew could buy a goy. That's a fresh pasuk. Now the Gemara dashens. Atem konim mehem. You Jews could buy from them. And the Gemara is going to say also, you could buy them. You could buy them. A Jew could buy a goy. The Brisa continues. A little bit bigger. Below, up a little smaller. Is that a Brisa over here? No, it's Rish Lakish. No, it's always Lakish. It's always Lakish. Rish Lakish is talking. The Lohem Konim Mi Kem. The Goyim cannot buy the Jew. We're going to see soon. Not so simple. But here it says so far that the Goy cannot buy the Jew. The Lohem Konim Zem Izeh. And the Goyim cannot buy from each other. What did it say? Only a Jew could buy from the Goy, or buy the Goy. The Goy cannot buy a Jew. The Goy cannot buy a Goy. We might think that they cannot even buy each other. But that doesn't make sense, because a second ago we said they cannot. They say they cannot buy each other. Cannot buy each other. Top line, they cannot buy from each other, which is another way of saying they cannot buy each other. And now it says in the second line, you might think they cannot buy each other, which the Gemara right jumps up. You're contradicting yourself. You said a second ago that Yitaka cannot buy each other. The Goy cannot buy a Goy. And here it says, you might think that you cannot buy each other. You just said a second ago you cannot, which the Gemara jumps up. Right. That's more It doesn't make sense. I might think that you cannot buy each other. They cannot buy each other. What do we say? You cannot. That's a more Right, there's a kasha. The Gemara jumps up and interjects. If I'd be able to make a parenthesis, I'll put it in. Yachol lo yiknu zeh. That's what he does. Did I hear you right? Did you just say that I might think that you cannot buy each other? He said a second ago that you may not. Amit lo him konim zeh mizeh. That's what he said a second ago. There's no big difference between zeh mizeh and zeh zeh. It's all the same. One from another, one another. So you just said a second ago that they may not. So what do you mean to say that you might think that you may not? And we're going to say in a second that you may. You're contradicting yourself. So achikama. You have to stick this all into Rish Lakish. No, it's going to say a Goy to a Goy. A Goy cannot buy a Goy. You might think a Goy cannot buy a Goy. It does have to go two more lines. It's going to say they could. Right, so you're asking a kasha. But you have to finish the sentence also. No, it has a kasha more accurately. Continue the sentence. A Goy cannot buy a Goy. You might think a Goy cannot buy a Goy could buy a Goy. Now it's a real contradiction, right? So that's going to be the most conscious. The more it interjects and doesn't let them finish a sentence, because even mid-sentence it doesn't make sense. I could tell you're going to go on and say that the Goy could buy a Goy. That's what you're going to say. You said a second ago you can't. So that we're going to fix it up before we go further. The top line there that says they cannot buy each other, that means he can't own his body, which means he, like a donkey or a horse, you own the body. So a Goy cannot buy a Goy for his actual essence. But you might think they cannot even buy each other's work, that he's obligated to work for me. So now that was the interjection. Now Rish Lakish continues. Amit Kal V'chomer. I can learn from a Kal V'chomer that a Goy could buy a Goy for his work. Kal V'chomer. Goy Yisrael Kona. Goy like Kol Shekain. a guy could buy a Jew. A guy could even buy a Jew for his work. And that's a pasuk. This pasuk in Parshas Bahar, over there talks about that if if the guy that lives amongst you is going to become successful, rich, and your brother's going to become poor, and he's going to be sold to he'll sell himself to the guy. So it talks about redeeming him. So it says opening the pasuk that a guy could buy a Jew for his work. Or he could buy a guy. And the way guy, Yisrael Kona, a guy could buy a Yisrael. Guy, like Olshkein. Can a guy not buy a guy? So surely a guy could buy a guy from Mashiach. What do we have so far? That the Bryce said that a Jew could buy a guy. Top line. Legufo. A Jew could buy a guy legufo. The law in Kodem Kem, a guy cannot buy a Jew legufo, and a guy cannot buy a guy legufo. You might think that a guy cannot buy a guy even l'maaseh yada. We could, because a guy could even buy a Jew l'maaseh yada. Now that's all talk about buying. All the pasuk of the Parshas Bahar talks about buying slaves. The ema ani bili b'kaspa. Maybe all this talking about buying for money. Aval b'chazaka lo. Maybe that's taking for force. The word chazaka, force. Interesting. That like chosek. Sometimes there's the chazka and the chazaka. But here, chazaka, the Gemara is going to talk about a chazaka the same way that you make a chazaka on a kinyan chazaka, which would mean by a field, you till the field, you work on the field, you make it better. And by a eved, the chazaka is going to be that he serves you. The chazaka on eved is that he puts on your shoes, he carries your bed towel, he shows his servitude. That's a chazaka. If the eved serves the master, that's the way of being kohen. Or you want to put in the word conquest, maybe we could say that also. It's also included over here. A guy owning a guy, not acquiring him, not with money, but with, call it conquest. Maybe. No, not the body. Mashiach, only Mashiach. That's what Kaspa means. You bought him for money. And he Rashi on this. Yeah, you bought him for money. Yes, over there you see that. What does it say over there? That a guy could buy a Jew. That says in the pasuk. A guy could buy a Jew. Kal v'chomer, a guy could buy a guy. That's all buying. Buying means for money. How about with taking him over, conquering him? Is that also a way to get an ever? Yeah, Rashi says it sounds a little bit. Okay, Rashi does say. It could be. But the point's going to be that he's forcing him to do it. This so the Rashi does talk about the servitude that he does, that he washes his feet, he puts on shoes, he does something for him. That's the chazaka we're talking about. Kinyan chazaka, and the kinyan chazaka is not going to be conquest, not conquest. Like Rashi seems to say. Yes, but and Rashi continues to say, chazaka. I know this aleph is over here, but he says chazaka shevet niknabo hainu chazaka shel avdos el bisho in ilo herchitzo. That's the kind. So it happens to be by force over here, but the point is that it's not with money. That's what it seems to be. Anybody here? What is this aleph? Something's wrong. Where's the aleph exactly? The Bach, Masha Bach. Below b'kesef, below b'chazaka. 1 second. This aleph is this aleph is the Bach. This aleph is the Bach. Below b'chazaka she'evet kani nikna bo. I'm not sure what the Bach means. Oh, where am I going over here? What happened? I'm not sure what happened just now. Where's the goes to Tzionim? I can make it slower over here. Lower. I'm not driving well today. I goes with Tzionim. Down here. Not בחזקה סיש, בחזקה ביש. כל שבוי שעסק בוי וכאנה בחזקה ביש. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay. Doesn't read so smoothly, but back to the Gemara. So tomorrow, he conquers, he goes to the street and he captures him. How do you get an Eved Kanani? Down south over there, how do you get Eved Kanani? And you go to Africa, how do you get a Chaz Eved? How do they get him over there? He took him. He put on handcuffs and he bought him. Have Eved for sale. Isn't that the simple way how they used to get a button? Isn't that the simple way how you get a button? One way is that the man comes out, I'd like to sell myself for an Eved, I need money. I'll sell myself for an Eved. It's an honor to be your Eved, and he gets the money. Other one, that he gets the money. That might include in the word chazak over there. I'm not sure what Rashi says. The truth, I don't know what Rashi says. Rashi does bring in the point about that he's serving you. But the fact that he serves you might even be, you force him to serve. That's what seems to be the point over here. That's what the Gemara is going to talk about. So we know so far that a Jew can buy an Eved to own his body. The guy cannot buy a Jew for his body. The guy cannot buy a guy for his body, but the guy could buy a guy for his work. And the source is because a guy could buy a Jew for his work. That's only with money. How do you know about Hazaka? Which you might think. I'm going to bring you a proof that even B'chazaka also. And this is going to be force. I don't know what Rashi says, but it's going to be that you can force him. Amra Papa, Amunamov Taru B'Sichon. This Amunamov became purified through Sichon. So this is this week's parsha, not that says in the pasuk, but this is what it talks about that Am Yisrael did conquer Ammon and Moab, or at least part of Ammon. And it says, how did they? Because Sichon had first captured Ammon and Moab. He was talking about territory, not about slavery, not about slavery, about territory. So Am Yisrael captured Sichon. That's what it says in the parsha. How? And Sichon had earlier captured Ammon and Moab. They're all going. Ammon and Moab, Sichon, Melech HaMori, they're all going. So the territory of Ammon and Moab was captured by Sichon, and now it became purified. It means it was being pure, that Am Yisrael was allowed to capture it. It means the issue is going to be that Am Yisrael was not supposed to fight with Ammon and Moab, not supposed to take their territory, and they did. That's what Ammon complained. What is saying the Haftorah that I forgot the name of the king, that he complained to and Yiftach stood up, and the whole drasha says in the Haftorah that Yiftach said that they didn't capture Ammon, they captured Sichon, and Sichon had earlier captured Ammon and Moab. So we didn't take your territory away. Sichon took it away, and we took it away from Sichon. So what does the Gemara want from this? How do you see that a goy could conquer a goy? Because Sichon conquered Ammon and Moab, and it has a halachic status that now belongs to Sichon. The Gemara is talking about territory, and Rashi says that applies also to Avadim. The point is that once you wouldn't be able to learn from this alone, as far as comparing Avadim to Karka, but once we know that Bekaspa, that we just finished darshaning, that a guy could buy a guy to own his Maisi Adayim. So too, if you find that the Chazaka works by Karka, the Chazaka also works by Avadim. And now we just finished learning that a guy could conquer a guy. Not that he's going to own his body, but he owns his work. He's now obligated to work for the master who owns him. Now the Gemara says that's only a guy to a guy. Ashkan goy. Goy Yisrael Minalan. It proved that a guy could conquer a guy. And now he owns him as an Eved. But can a guy conquer a Yisrael? which is really back to our subject. Now we're getting back to our subject. What did we talk about? That Jew wants to buy an Eved from a captor. What happened over there in the Mishnah? That there was an Eved Kanani that was captured by Goyim, and the original master gave up hope. So now he's an ownerless Eved. This Eved is a Jew. Now he's a Jew. I mean, he's has to go to the mikvah still. He has to get Mila, but he can't marry a Jewish girl. But he's not a Goy. He's an Eved Kanani. He was Eved Kanani. So he's Jewish as far as we're concerned. And he was taken over by the Goy. And now we're talking about that the Jew is going to buy him, from the Goy. Do we know that a Goy, does he have any rights? Does that Goy have any rights on the Jew that you're buying him? So now it's going to prove, yes, that the Goyim have the power to. How do you know? And that's Kasha. You does see that a Goy could conquer a Goy. Is the halachic status of a Goy conquering a Jew? Yes. Tichsiv, Vayish, Mimenu Shevi. Also this week's Parsha, Vayish, Mimenu Shevi, there's someone Melech Harod, and they made a war against Am Yisrael. Vayilocham Yisrael, Vayish, Mimenu Shevi, they captured a captive. And that's the drash that says that it was only one woman. And even without in the pshat, that it means that it captured captives. There was captives, but you see that they captured, and they weren't. And the Pashup pshat, you say, has no lochic status. They captured Jews, and that's why the Am Yisrael went. They made a war against them, but and recaptured. But the Gemara is making a drash that the fact that it calls it a Shevi, that means it has a lochic status that they were owned by the Goyim. The Goy who conquered the Jews, it has a lochic status. And the Gemara is finished. What did it want? It wanted to know how could the Jew buy from the captor? Does the Goy own the Jew? But the answer is yes. How did he do it? How did he do it? He conquered him. He conquered him. So he got the ownership, and now the Jew is allowed to buy the Jew, the Eved Kanani, from the Goy. Even though it seems, can the Jew capture a Jew? No. But here, the Jew is already owned by the Goy. So now the Jew could buy the ownership of this Eved Kanani from the Goy. No, to get him out of there is one twist. That's Pinyin Shvuyim. But the question is, halachically, are you allowed to take him as an Eved? So here it sounds a little bit, I think it sounds a little bit that if the Goy would have captured a Jew, and he now has halachic rights, so to speak, that he owns his work, so now it says that the Jew could buy that. He's a regular Jew, because here the Eved is not the point, right? I don't know. I'm just trying to learn the Gemara. I don't know if it's true, but that's what it seems like. Because here we're talking about that. The whole question was, how could you buy? How could you? The Eved is free. Means he's not allowed to marry a Jewish girl because he has a status of Eved Kanani, but no one owns him. So he owns himself. And the answer is no. That the Goy owns him, and now you could buy him. So you're asking now that a Jew should be the same thing. B'chor it's the same thing. I'm not sure what to say, but that's what it seems so far. End of that Gemara. Right. That's this week's parsha. We have it here on the side. Okay. Gemara. Amar Rav Shemer bar Rabbi Yochanan. So Rabbi Yochanan is being quoted. Evet Shabarach, Beis Asurim. A slave, Eved Kanani, he ran away from jail. He was captured. Rashi says the captives. Before we spoke about, Amish spoke about if he was redeemed. He was redeemed for servitude. He was redeemed for freedom. He ran away on his own. He ran away from the jail, from the captives. He goes free. Not only does he go free, so now he has no owner anymore, but also he forced his master to give him a document of liberation, which means he's allowed to marry a Jewish girl. So that's Rabbi Yochanan's statement that a guy that Eved Kanan, they ran away from his captors, he goes free. And the Marza Kasha, our Mishnah spoke about an Eved Kanani that was captured, that was redeemed by a Jew, and had a chiluk if it was for servitude or if it was for freedom. And Tanakama of Shimon Gamliel, the Gemara is going to make the cheshbon and see how it applies to Eved Kanani that ran away. Tanan, our Mishnah. Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer, Benkach Benkach Ishtavi. Whatever the Mishnah is talking about, Reb Shimon Gamliel says that even if he was redeemed for freedom, he's still a slave. And You have to add on now. We pass like Rav Shimon Gamliel, which we didn't know till now. That's Rav Yochanan. That's Rav Yochanan talking of Yochanan. Any place of Shimon Gamliel is in the Mishnayos, we pass like them. With three exceptions, which is not our subject right now. Puts me Erev, it's Sidon, Beraya, Achrona. There are three halachas we shouldn't have to go into now. Erev, Sidon, Raya, Achrona. Three places which we don't pass like Rav Shimon Gamliel, otherwise we do. So in our Mishnah, we're going to pass like Rav Shimon Gamliel. That's our Mishnah. We pass like Rav Shimon Gamliel. So how does the story go that it says a second ago that an Ever that ran away, he goes free? How does it fit with Rav Shimon Gamliel that says Benkach or Benkach? When he ran away, it's also as if he's taking himself for his own master, like he was redeemed for freedom. So Bishlam Abai, Abai says, whole Mishnah is talking about before years, and that was a discussion of Shimon Gamliel and Tanakama. But after years, he goes free. Bishlam Abai, Mukil Alahai Lifnei years, Vailacha years. So Mishnah is talking about before years, and that's why he talks about being a servitude still. And the case here, Yochanan is talking about that it was after years, so he goes free. The master was Miyayish, and therefore he lost ownership, and now the Eved runs away from the Goyim, so he's free. Rava holds that the Mishnah is talking about after years. And even after years, just a special takana, according to Rav Shimon Gamliel, that even if he was freed l'shem liberation, still he's the Eved. And the reason why I was over there, because he shouldn't make a scheme to run away. So the more thinks that here also, you have to make him, he should still be an Eved, he should still go back to the Rav, the original master, even though he ran away from jail. And he still should be a slave. And here he says that he goes free. It doesn't apply over here. The reason why Shimon Gamliel said that he should remain a slave even if he was after years and he was redeemed for freedom, he still remains a slave because of Chizkiya's problem. What's that? Kishem. No, not Kishem. Chizkiya. That people that they shouldn't make a scheme and run away in order to get free. But here that he ran away from the captors is different. What's Chizkiya scared of? That if he's going to be able to get a better situation, he might run away from his master and make himself captured in order that someone will redeem him and will get free as a whole scheme. But over here, you see that he's petrified of the Gayosos. He's even putting his life in danger to run away from them. If someone runs away from the captors, they might kill him. So you see that he doesn't want. He's not taking a chance. He's not chash. He's going to put himself into the Gayosos. This person is scared of these captors. So there's no chash. For death, he's giving himself. He's most nefesh misa. Iktala is misa for death, for being killed. He's putting his life on the line that he might be killed in order to get away from these captors. Do you think he's going to make himself captured? No such chance. That's what it says the whole time. The captors are the gayosos. That's what we had in number three. Go says. No. That's two samachs. This is one samach. Where do we have the word? We had this word earlier in the day. Let's find it. Yeah, this word here, Lagayosos. So that's the captors. The guy, sometimes it means like the army, the band, or whatever it is. So that's the point. So Rava says that I'm right. And even after years, Rav Shimon Gamliel says he goes back to be a slave. And here is different because you see that he's not interested in being scheming to go to the captors because he's running away, being most nefesh to get away from them. Yashikoach. Yeah, so we're